What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Archives. This is Brandon.
This is Michael.
Stefan.
This is where we review and break down a collected edition and talk about it, walk you guys through it. Today's episode is King in Black by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. This was their big project since Donny started doing every cosmic book, every book he can get his hands on. Everything kind of just revolves around this book right here, King in Black, that we spent the better part of probably the pandemic, before the pandemic, through the pandemic, and now post dealing with. How do we like in this book today, guys?
Well, this book was, I didn't have anything against Donny Cates when he first started becoming big, but I was just like, whatever, it's fine. But then I started reading a lot of his work in mass, and I started realizing that the books I'm reading and enjoying were Donny Cates books. I was like, oh my god! And I just kept falling more in love with his writing and his writing style and how much he loves comics. And then he gets this big event book coming out of his Absolute Carnage book as well, which I really enjoyed, which was a fun book. And then this big book, which had a lot of lasting consequences and a lot of build up to it. I like that the long story that he did with this, which is really cool.
100%. I totally agree. King in Black was one of those books that I was really excited for. Like you said, Absolute Carnage came out, and that kind of blew me away. But I also knew that we were kind of getting a teaser. I was following Donny. When I started reading, I think he was doing Doctor Strange when I first started reading. Sure. So I didn't really recognize the name until I saw him appearing in Death of Inhumans, Thanos, Guardians, Silver Surfer Black. And then, of course, with Venom, that impressed me while I was like reading.
Yeah, his Venom run.
His Venom run was fantastic. And now he's doing Hulk. And like you said, this was a big buildup. It took 3 years. I felt like it. Donny and Ryan, they are harmless. If anyone has anything against them, they're harmless. They're fun people. And they're just two kids with their action figures. And the reason why Knull is in this book, or even there, is because he's like that one action figure from the Transformers set that crossed over here because no one ever heard about him. You didn't hear about him. They just created him, threw him in there, and no one knew about him because they weren't in that original set. Stefan, how you liking this book?
I thought it was quite fun. A very epic. Like the stakes were deserved because there was build up, with Donny's Venom run, but it was cool how, because it could, it's core to Venom, but it's cool how it encompasses the rest of the Marvel universe.
Right.
So I enjoyed it.
Right. And Donny's work on the character, probably other than Lethal Protector. I don't think you can do the same thing as Lethal Protector did because that was like his baseline story, but it was better than Final Host, probably better than Remender, which was a different Venom that focused on Flash Thompson, but solid work. But this will go down as the biggest game changing because funny thing about Venom is he's always kind of had that 90s fan base, late 80s, 90s fan base. Absolutely. But no one really did anything.
This is taking the character in a direction that I don't think anyone saw coming. Like the potential that Donny Cates saw in Venom, I think was almost like him alone saw like what he actually could be. And like I said, I loved the long game he played. He set it up in Guardians and Silver Surfer. Like he was setting up this big confrontation with the god of symbiotes. And so like it was really, really cool. And then him taking his Venom run, really taking the relationship between Eddie and his son to a whole new level too, like bringing more depth to Eddie Brock in general as well, not just him as Venom, but him as a person. I think that was huge.
And his son being Dylan Brock, first appeared in his issue number 7 and issue number 9, where it was like his first two appearances for anyone looking for those books in particular. But their relationship was really weird. Obviously, Eddie and his wife they passed on, so they were no longer together, and they had a son. But it was kind of hidden from Eddie throughout his time where he missed him, which put a strain on their relationship. So now that Eddie has to take responsibility of his son, there's a lot of lost years. So think about Superman when he came back and John was, or when John came back and Superman and John didn't had those lost years, but this is more toxic because it's Eddie, not Clark.
Yeah.
But what you said about Donny was really interesting to me because if he saw all his potential in Venom, right? I wonder what he sees in Hulk, which is a series that he's doing currently.
I loved that new Hulk issue, by the way. Totally caught me by surprise. I think I tweeted about this too. I was just like, I thought I knew you, Donny. I thought I knew what to expect from his books, but no. After reading Hulk, I was like, you just totally left field. Every time I read you, it's great.
He's always got unique ideas.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
And they usually involve God, swords, and some badass idea on steroids.
He loves swords.
Loves swords, and
This
he
is great.
loves God. I don't think I have not read a Donny Cates book where there was no God. I mean,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, but there was Bats the dog, so I kind of count that.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Bats is the man. But so for anyone who is new to Venom, Venom first appeared as an early or late villain of Spider-Man late in the 80s, but became one of his most prominent very quickly. It's a symbiote, which is an alien parasite that kind of like takes over the body and creates this hive. So like it connects the mind, both minds and the souls and everything together. Okay. Later on, Venom kind of branched out his own character. The symbiotes became more popular, which no one saw coming. It was just something that needed to happen in Secret Wars. Which, if you want to check out my interview with John Beatty, go right ahead, or Bob Layton as well, who's on that book for a brief period, or Jim Shooter too, for that matter. But anyway, this book is taking Eddie and his depression, living with this relationship, to a whole new level. So this is a great run to get involved in Venom in. I would say this would be a great first arc because you get to know everyone. You get to know Carnage. You get to know his relationship with Peter, which gets retconned a lot. You get to know Eddie's relationship with the symbiote and his relationship with himself. And he just grows. This is the culmination. This is the big event going on. Let's get right into it. So we open up with the ramifications of Eddie coming back from Venom Beyond, which was the story arc that said, after the events of Absolute Carnage, Knull is able to enter Earth's atmosphere. But Eddie and Dylan Eddie ends up going to a different dimension where Dylan, his son, is the Knull. So it was like he's haunted. He comes back and Knull's here. So we're dealing with it. So the first thing he does is he contacts the Avengers, all the Avengers' phones. They start pinging. So in Marvel events, you're just going to see every single character pop in, no matter where they are. Like, I think at this time, Thor was trapped with the Black Winter, and he appears in this year. I'm like, when did he have time to cross over?
I know. Yeah, I know.
But after Eddie calls the Avengers, he sees his son sleeping, and he just doesn't want to wake him up into this nightmare because throughout the course, I believe this issue went up to 33, and then 34 was the last one, or correct?
Yes. It was like, I think the last one was like, I think it was 35. It was like put out as like issue 100 or something, like the big premiere issue. Yeah. But I think it was like 34, 35, something like that. Yeah.
Right. So throughout this whole time, Eddie and Dylan kind of grew together. And before this arc at the end of Absolute Carnage, they just had a big moment together. And Eddie comes back. He sees him sleeping. He doesn't want to wake him up because we are living in this hell. The Avengers kind of get together. And Tony is walking everyone through the plan. He has set up line mines in space, which is kind of suiting to his character. You know, Tony Stark likes to build weapons. Yeah. And they blow up. Now, the symbiotes are basically like, I always thought they're like Batman when I was like reading them, but I was like, they're just like mini dragons. It's like Mushu, but black with wings and like more wings.
Yeah, they're terrifying. They're terrifying.
They're terrifying.
Was it just called Grendel, or were they all Grendel?
All Grendel?
Yeah, you remember in the opening arc of Venom, they called the dragon Grendel?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot that. I haven't read the opening arc for Venom since it came out.
Yeah, I had to brush up on it recently.
Good. All right. Cool. All right. Come on, man.
There you go. So the bombs go off, and it doesn't kill all of them. It kills about like 100, 1,000, but then they keep swarming Earth. So that doesn't work. So Eddie takes Dylan to the safe house that was set up in the JMS run of Spider-Man by Ezekiel, right? That was his name. Which that was a cool little retcon. So Donny, as you said, Michael, earlier, Donny loves his comics, so he definitely gives a lot of writers their credit, except for something that I'm going to get into a little bit because I saw that should not have been there, but that could have been Ryan Stegman. But so Eddie and Dylan have a moment, like a father-son, like the please come back, and of course Eddie says, of course I will. But he ends up going out, and the Avengers, they have the street team going first. So this is where you're going to see your street characters, your Iron Fist, your Doctor Strange is on the street level for some reason. Jessica's not there because she's a kid. But you see Wonder Man for like the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah,
but,
that was crazy. And then like we don't hear from him ever again. First
yeah,
off,
we don't hear. It wasn't
specifically
any
for
of
like the
tie-ins.
Marvel 616
Right.
universe.
The one thing that I
Shows
can really gripe about with this event was I tried every single tie-in, but it immediately got cut back. When I think about tie-ins, I'm like, okay, if I see, let's say, 12 heroes in the first issue of the run, I want to see like at least 6 of them branch out to their own tie-in, right? Because we'll get there.
Sure.
Okay, you want to read this person, then go there. Not, we're just gonna forget about them, leave them out. I was like, ooh, a Wonder Man, like kind of what he's doing would be cool.
Yeah, but they
Right.
totally lost it. They just showed him
Nope.
for a second.
Right, but a lot of the tie-ins where this person fights a dragon. Cool. Great.
Cool.
Oh, that'd be the whole tie-in.
That was like all of the tie-ins.
Yeah, well, that's my big issue with tie-ins in general. If we're
Right.
getting
But
serious with
like
them.
the War of the Realms one did it like so thoughtfully. So like I was like,
Sure.
wow, that was great. But I loved War of the Realms. I don't know about anyone else, but I personally did. I love to do it on the show. So we have the Street Hero team. We got Cap down there. We got I think that's no, that's not T'Challa. But then we have then the X-Men reach out. So Professor Xavier calls and he says, "I'm coming. I'm bringing help." So there you see like your Cyclops shooting his beams. Nightcrawler's bamfing in and out. Jean is there. Storm is there. Wolverine, and then Cable, which was really interesting because he should not be old man Cable. So he's drawn as old man Cable, but in this part of the X-Men's timeline, that Cable was.
He's still a kid. I like that they Donny Cates brought in the X-Men to fight in the because I know at the time their new headquarters in New York, so it makes sense where they were. But like just in general as well, you don't really get to see the X-Men interact with any like symbiote too often. So the big symbiote thing and then the X-Men being there, I think that was really, really cool.
Absolutely.
Right. Of course, it was like for their motive of like, okay, now don't complain about us when we decide to do something you're not ready for.
Yeah. They were on this big mission to be like, we're superheroes again because their base now is in like.
Well, it is now with Dugan after the Hellfire Gala. This is pre-Hellfire Gala. This is like.
Oh, was that pre-Hellfire?
This is pre. Tennis.
Well, they're still trying. They're trying to be heroes.
They're trying to like.
They're trying again.
I think this is like right after that issue with when they sat with like all the ambassadors and like Magneto told them basically go F themselves because Gorgon and Cyclops were getting attacked.
Yeah.
In, like the lower levels. That was awesome, by the way.
That was really good.
And Apocalypse was there, this meeting there. Like,
in his suit.
Yes, I
nice
was like, in his suit. I'm like, what would Apocalypse have worn to the Hellfire Gala if he was still there? Like,
I know. I mean, his classic look.
His classic, but like
his Egyptian look, probably.
More like royal look. I think he would have done like a
Pharaoh
like a Gucci Egyptian look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course he would.
A Gucci Egyptian look.
That would be great, actually. That would be amazing.
It would have been. So what Eddie does is he's swinging around. He's now Venom because this big event is going on, and he goes to the chair where Carnage was an absolute carnage. Okay, so how Carnage was able to control many people and spread his hive was by sitting in a chair that connected to the whole city, basically.
Right.
Kind of like an Age of Ultron thing where Ultron was like right there at the center of Sokovia. Same thing. So Eddie sits there and he goes to reach out, which is obviously painful. We see glimpses of Doctor Strange and Storm taking out people. What was really funny is at this time, Mark Waid's Doctor Strange one was just getting canceled. It was like his last 4 issues or whatever. And Doctor Strange in this issue has the Donny Cates costume. Which that's like Donny's like, I don't care. Like it was kind of funny. Like, okay, the Doctor Strange books are trash right now. Good job, Donny. I like that costume much better too.
Yeah, and that one's cooler. That was cooler anyways, bro. Grab it.
Okay. And better. And I love Mark Waid, but it just was not that great. So Knull has been on this whole quest in space to kind of take over and spread the different hives out there and gain control, build his army. So something that he does and that we see come raining down after like our heroes are kind of getting there. They're making some progress. The Celestials were taking over by Knull. So he's like, I will never be eternal. But the next thing is making sure that my legacy lives on it.
Of course, yeah.
You know, we don't get a whole lot of dialogue here. We just get a lot of working parts. Well, Knull likes to talk and Knull's like talking trash this entire book. Yeah. I think in trade it reads more like darkness is like every time there's darkness, you just like take a shot and we'll be done by the first 2 issues.
True.
So Knull's dark. Knull is for anyone who has not been familiar with Knull Knull is the symbiote god, the darkness of the abyss. Right, he's the god of the abyss. That is this symbiote. That are the symbiotes, right? That feed off of that darkness.
Also,
Okay.
isn't he tied to, like, what is it? That Thor run too. It had was
Thor?
it the God Butcher?
Yeah.
Isn't he gets his power from that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was teased in like the early issues of that Thor.
Yeah, Jason
I
Aaron's
love
one.
Jason Aaron's Thor.
I loved it. That Mighty Thor was Sod Ribic, like it was a beautiful book. But
my
yes, so like he has Knull has had a huge influence everywhere, and he's like extremely powerful.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So Knull comes down and he looks down at his Avengers and he's like, he's talking some trash. He's like, yeah, I thought I've heard such great things about Earth, but I'm the god of the abyss. I'm the eternal darkness. Screw you. And the Avengers like, oh yeah, well this is like our secret weapon. They're like, say hello to my little friend, and it's like not so little. Sentry, which Sentry's never used, so I was really, really stoked to see him in here, especially because he's one of my favorite characters. Thank you to Paul Jenkins, thank you to Brian Michael Bendis, and thank you to Jeff Lemire, who had a nice little stint on the character, which not everyone knows that, but I digress. Knull basically makes Sentry his bitch and brings out the Void.
Nice little callback to I think it was like New Avengers issue 2 or 3, where he Sentry takes off into space with Carnage and rips him in half. Does the same thing to Sentry.
I did not recall that. I cannot recall that off the top of my head, but I take your word. That's awesome. I did not realize that. But that's again.
I also like.
Go
for it. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that's another like great callback to like what we were saying earlier about Donny Cates understanding stories that preceded his.
Oh, and Siege. When Sentry ripped Ares in half.
Didn't he like rip him off by the shoulder though?
Well, he ripped him in half, yeah.
Yeah. It was very impressive. There's a lot of whenever Sentry's involved, someone's getting ripped up in half.
This time it was Sentry.
This time it was Sentry. There you go. Yeah. He's not excluded from any of the ripping in half. But I like Sentry as well, Brandon. I like his character. I like the conflict he has within himself. I just wish, besides when he's in his own book, when he's in any other book, when he's ever being written, he's always like the last weapon of anything. Like that's like our secret weapon is the Sentry, guys.
Right.
So we're gonna win.
The reason why is because the thing with Sentry is he has like kind of that split personality. So you get like this badass superhero, but the flip side is you get someone who's gonna cause just as much damage, like the Void. It's like the yin and yang. It's like no, of course, it's like an equal and opposite reaction.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like I like the complex nature of the character, and when he's written in his own books, you get to dive into that, and it's phenomenal. Right. Whenever he's on whenever he shows up in a team book or a big event book, it's just because he's like the Avengers' last resort. Here's our secret weapon, the Sentry. Like he never starts off just helping. Like he's always just brought in.
Yeah.
100%. Right, and I agree, and it's kind of a shame because I love seeing Sentry.
Me too.
It's just I feel like it's like, okay, we just need a flex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like we need a flex, and he's there, and it's like, okay, well, if you're a longtime Marvel reader, since he was created in 97, 99,
2000.
Oh, 2000. Same time period. They're within like 3 years, but for like long-term fans, like saw like that ripping half. I'm like, oh, but they got no one left.
Yeah, I mean that's impressive. That's a power level right there. That I think maybe that's what Donny Cates was doing. Now that I'm really thinking about it, like showing the literal might of Knull, like how he was just laughing as he tears him in half. He's like, this is who you send?
Here's the thing, we've seen Knull like in like glimpses in like other books. Like, I'm sure he was like Silver. He wasn't in Silver Surfer Black, really all that much.
Not too much, but yeah.
Like he just talked to him.
Yeah, he was hinted towards. Yeah,
he was hinted at. In Guardians, there was like tease. He was Death and Humans was more like he was teased because there was that darkness arising.
Yeah,
he was always like kind of teased. We probably only saw him like I could probably count on my hands the amount of times I've seen Knull actually interact with people. So the fact that this is their first impression of like, okay, we've heard about this guy, but he's here, and he just ripped it. He just ripped our backup, backup. He just ripped our fourth string quarterback who somehow wins the game every time. He cut Nick Foles in half.
In literal half.
I'm calling it Nick Foles right now. He cut it.
Literally in half.
Right in half. But so that obviously scares the shit out of Tony Stark, who's like running who's like running the communications. He's like, guys, get out. And Black Cat for some reason is there. I don't know how Black Cat I don't understand how Black Cat is possibly in this book. It can make some sort of difference. I get she should be with like Mary Jane or something, who's like out in LA right now doing like her movie.
Maybe she's trying to make sure you guys maybe she's trying to give Null bad luck or something. I don't know.
I don't know why she's in there. But Knull comes back. We see Luke Cage, we see Cap, we see Wolverine and Cyclops. They're getting overrun. So what that means is Knull touches down, his symbiote starts to pour as well and taking over our hero. So it's like, okay, we were screwed before. Now we're getting worse. And it's really not looking good. Like it's Empire Strikes Back level of not looking good. So Knull decides, let me take it a step further and cover the whole place in like the symbiote. Right, yeah. So we are in darkness. So he's like, "I'm the god of dark." I'm the god of the abyss. So I'm going to introduce you to darkness. And the last one left is Storm, which I think, if I'm putting myself in Donnie's head, that's probably his favorite X-Men first, right off the bat. But it also really shows how powerful of a character Storm is. Also, because something that kind of combats that symbiote is your willpower to deny it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she totally lives up to that goddess title of hers. Like, she earns it.
Oh yeah, and Donnie loves gods.
There you go. He's a fan of gods and swords. That's right. Got to keep that in mind, everybody.
Who do you guys think would win, Valifax or the Necrosword?
Oh, I like
Donnie. You're watching.
I like his sword. I like. The guy, like, what's the guy country's sword name? What's his?
Valifax.
Valifax, thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Valifax.
I just like the attitude. I like his attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, the Valifax should like literally put you like outside of Earth. So it's like,
yeah.
I kind of rock that. Like, if I'm cutting you, I don't want to cut you in half. I just want to send you wherever the hell I want.
I mean, I love it. I like that he brought it into crossover too. His image book. Like, it was so cool.
I'm like, I know that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that book is. It's just every page, I'm like, oh, I know that one. Oh, I know this guy too.
I feel like that's Donnie's definition of the phrase "whip it out." Okay, here's the Valifax.
Yeah, here you go.
Here's a sword.
It was just so cool. I love that book so much. Donny Cates makes me so happy. He really does.
Donnie's awesome. I love Donnie. And he's been getting so much like Twitter. I'm like, y'all can relax. Just because
didn't he just quit Twitter, right?
I mean, I think his agent, I think like whoever's running his Twitter quit.
Oh, whoever run. Well, because like his profile's gone, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't tweet him. I don't know how to Twitter. I just know how to Instagram and email.
He announced it on Instagram. Yeah.
He's still on Instagram, but yeah, he deleted his Twitter. He was done.
I'm like, I have.
He's too hardcore.
Yeah, I have a Twitter. I just don't know how to use it. Like, I need to take like a Twitter class.
Sure.
Same.
Yeah. Right, let's go. Let's partner. So Null takes over Storm. She's the last one left. Tony and Professor X are watching all of this. Tony like is then like about to ask Professor X, send more mutants over. Professor X like, no, we sent you too many. Sorry, but we're Krakoa. Sorry guys, we're Krakoa. We're our own people. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Eddie starts connecting with the Hive and he tries to make everything better, but it doesn't really work because here comes Knull grabbing him out of his little dome. And then he just takes him over the top of a building, takes the symbiote out because he's like, yeah, I told you. He's like, yeah, no, you're not the one I need. He's like, I need your son. He's like, but I'm going to take you first. And he's like, I'm taking your symbiote. I don't need you. You're just the host. He's like, screw you. I just need your talents. So he drops him off of the cliff of a building. And this is where like right there, beautiful Dosage. By the way, the art in this book is phenomenal.
I mean, it really is.
It is.
Stegman. Yeah, my first experience with Stegman was, I think, on Slott's original Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think that was mine too, actually. Yeah, and then his
New Avengers, or not New Avengers, but Uncanny Avengers with Gary Dugan.
Yeah, that one. I also liked him on Spider-Man Renew Your Vow as well. He was on there for the first few issues. Yeah, he's just beautiful artist. He's very comic book-esque, which I like, but like in such a cool way.
Right. I would say like a lot of people like to draw these realistic photos. You can do that now digitally, right? You can make like a person look like they're actually like in front of you. like a real person that you'd see in public. But Ryan Stegman kind of has this cartoony sense to him that just works really well.
Yeah, very exaggerated, but still detailed.
Right,
Yeah,
and it's very vibrant.
Like I don't know, maybe make a weird comparison, but it reminds me a lot of just in that kind of sense to Jorge Jimenez as well. It's cartoony, but it's pretty detailed. It fits the comic book scheme. It's not childish. It looks amazing.
Right. And they have their own unique styles to panels. It's like I think as like being like a comic book fan is like if you know how you truly like appreciate your characters, you'll spotlight certain characters within the panels just to make them stand out that would really fit the tone of the book. That's what we saw with Storm, right? That's what we saw with Sentry, and that's what we're seeing right now with some of the emotional moments in this book. And they're really, really highlighted. That's a big testament to Stegman. And I'm sure Donny gives him his freedom to do that at this point in their chemistry.
Trust them,
Well, that's just a good creative team right there. You got to let the artists do their thing too.
Yeah, they are the Hickman Dragata. They are the Brubaker Epting.
Yeah, it's true. I like that Brubaker Epting comparison. Yeah, it's really good.
Right. Best in their time period. Yeah. So Spider-Man goes over. He sees Eddie fall, so he takes him, and his first thing is he needs to get him back because Eddie is still alive. But everyone's under the impression that our heroes have died that were originally on the grounds in the first place, but they were just taken over by Knull, so they are nullified, right? They're not like nullified like Zip, they're nullified as in like kind of how we saw in Absolute Carnage when he would infect others. He mixed their drones or whatever, his pawns. Sorry. So Human Torch shows up. Him and Spider-Man have a great relationship. We see a lot of New York heroes here, i.e. Black Cat, everyone else. Luke Cage is in there. We haven't seen Daredevil because he's in jail. So if you want to know where Daredevil is, he's in jail. Lex's running around. So they're not going to incorporate that here. For some reason, Daredevil doesn't cross over in any titles. Simple fact. Sad fact, but true.
Well, I thought there's the Daredevil. He doesn't he have his own miniseries with this? Like,
I remember where it's continuing the Daredevil segment.
Because he does get taken over, doesn't he?
Yeah, in the prison.
In the prison,
but then he gets the symbiote out of prison and he just like locks himself back up.
Exactly.
Because he's trying to get rid of all the crime within jail. So anyway, Human Torch shows up and he tries to buy Spider-Man time to get Eddie out. They have a very symbolic relationship, the two, going back a while. Which, if you want some more information on that, I would say Zdarsky writes a very good relationship between the two characters. So Spider-Man brings Eddie and kind of wraps him up in his webbing, takes him back, which the webbing kind of feels like, I would say it's the most Todd McFarlane art we've seen, or Eric Larson, just with how much detail Stegman has with his webbings.
Sure. Yeah.
Very, very 90s.
He knows his spider people. Yeah, he got a lot of practice with it.
Oh yeah. So they take him back, and Valkyrie is there, but she's like, "Yeah, no, I gotta go." So I never really knew where she left after this because I wasn't reading her series at the time because it got canceled, kept getting canceled, which was a little sad because you had like Kefu on it and you had Aaron and Ewing, and then I was like, you just had Aaron. I was like, this book just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So Peter shows up and Dylan automatically knows that Eddie is not doing well. And his first thing's like, yeah, no, he didn't make it back, did he? But Spider-Man's like, no, he did, but you need to come with me. Now, no one knows that Dylan has powers. Dylan has been rumored to have powers to take over symbiotes. We saw that in Absolute Carnage, and we saw a glimpse of that in the Venom Beyond story. And we saw that with his relationship with the Vox symbiote, that's his cat. Which I'm still kind of heavy on that symbiote actually meaning something kind of like the Maker that they're teasing. I think that they're going to come into contact later on, but that's something else. So Reed and Susan, they're trying to study what's going on. And then Spider-Man comes in. He's like, yeah, no, we need this. Blade is trying to lobby for the X-Men, as I said earlier. And the X-Men are like, yeah, no, we're done. Eric is just yelling at him. He's like, these are our people. And if you guys don't want to survive this, we certainly will and look after our own. which at this point, Krakoa was like first starting their nation. Like, we need to make a stand that we're not going to get trampled on. We're going to say no to everything and take everything from everyone else. Yeah. He's like, or it's like, or early, it's like, when people are like, meet me outside, they're like, meet me at Madripoor. Let's do this. And I said, no, we're not doing that. Sorry. We're done.
We're not going to protect you guys. Yeah.
No,
we're on hero timeout right now.
Right. So of course this guy makes his classic appearance. He says, "The King of the Abyss, eh?" He's like, "That's adorable." He's like, "That's cute." It's none other than Namor, which I thought that was awesome. And Namor's like, he's like, "I own the planet Earth, literally." He's like, "They ain't getting by without a fight." And then Tony's like, "I have an idea, but Namor's gonna be mad because I'm not supposed to know about this." He's like, "You guys fight something known as the Black Tide, right? They were banished, right?" And Namor's like, he's like, "Yeah, no, I just didn't want to fucking tell you because I knew you." He's like, this is my shit to deal with." He's like, "Get out of here, bro." So Blade goes to Dracula to get his vampires. So it's like they're just calling in favors at this point.
Yeah, Hail Mary.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised on how much of an impact Blade has had in this book. Not really an impact, but like how many appearances he's had.
Yes.
I would say like out of any like the supporting characters, like after Spider-Man, of course, I would say Blade is like number 2 and Iron Man. They're like 2 and 3.
In this particular series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what they're like, especially what Jason Aaron's doing with Blade and his Avengers run. Like, just first off, having him on the Avengers, I think is amazing. Right. And then kind of more of like this like mystical leader role a little bit that he's gonna start playing. Like, I think that was really cool of him.
Right. It's kind of like their street knowledge based person. He's like their expert in like certain tactics in his Avengers run. But when they went to space, it was like it's kind of pointless at this point that Blade on that team because he's useless. He just fights vampires. I just way above his pay grade. So they call in another favor. They call their esteemed mayor, and the mayor reaches out, and this is where you get the Thunderbolts team that we're going to see next in another tie-in. So that's setting up. It's Thunderbolts is a team of a bunch of villains teaming up to do the right thing, basically. So that's what they're like Marvel's Suicide Squad, just not as cool.
Yeah, they always end up doing a little villainy on the side when they can.
Right. Tony has another bright idea. He takes over a dragon, and they're able to separate it from the hive. So Tony gets inside of it, and his job is to, start with like a penny, and then get a nickel, then get a dime, and like get your quarters, and move your way up to dollar bills. And he's moving right up to the $100 bill, which we're gonna see later in that comeback. They bring the symbiote back because they want it to merge with Eddie, so that can like help him get out of bed, even though he's like unconscious, like about to die. Dylan like destroys it, and that's when his powers are revealed to like be able to control and manipulate the symbiotes because of his deep connection. And while him and Peter and the Fantastic Four, they're kind of like bickering. In the midst of that, we hear the flat line, or we get like the onomatopoeia of the flat line going like, yeah, boop, 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 and then it flattens, and then that ends that issue, giving us into the third, because now we're still written in the narration of Eddie. Now we're sort of like talking about the light. We were heavy on the dark for the first 2 issues. Now we're on issue 3, and everything is like kind of like, okay, we're just gonna keep enforcing that there's a light side. So we're kind of setting things up as we're going forward. Invisible Woman is back in action. Everyone's really back in action. And Reed is studying something that happened in a Wraith tie-in earlier, and then we see Dylan trying to like get out there. He's like he's really pissed, and everyone's just like on their last life. So their job is, we're gonna get you, Dylan, to Knull so you can take him over. They can at least attempt to. And who's leading that charge? It's Peter and Wolverine, which it was a really, really cool team up, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
A nice little. Oh, sorry, I'm blocking Wolverine.
There you go.
It's always good when those two team up together.
Yeah.
Right. So, of course, they're going down. They're trying to find Knull, and they're running into all of these heroes that are taken over by the symbiote. Knull spots Dylan, who is carrying Captain America's shield, which I thought that was really cool. Captain like just let him as like a little kid running down the Halloween streets. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like how he caught it when Cap threw it at him.
Right, he like tossed him at. He tossed it. I mean, he got it. You know, Dylan's like a certified badass. You know, which is great. But
true. Yeah. He is.
So the person who's like kind of been in the background of this issue, Knull goes to reach out for Dylan, who's like kind of got like that jump scare. And it's none other than Thor, who Donny is also writing at the same time. So they're like kind of running parallel. Thor's out doing his own thing though, because who cares about continuity or anything. But
I like that Donny Cates kind of like quote like a little bit explained that in the Thor book when he's like talking to Captain America in one issue. He's just like, when was the last time you saw me, Cap? You know, like you guys are mortals. I'm alive for like thousands of years. Like you're like years, like a minute to me. Like I don't know what's going on. So like yeah, he just randomly shows up. He's like seeing them for the first time in forever. So
yeah, he's like, yeah, but he's on the Avengers team. I mean, so I was
like you're saying how did he know to show up?
Well, it's like how do you know show up? Is like how can he appear in like multiple titles, like things that are just like reversed. I'm like, okay, cool.
I mean, like 5 years ago, Wolverine was in literally everything.
Oh
so like there was that too.
I mean, Doctor
Strange
Strange
like
is
5 different teams and running a school and doing all this stuff. So
right. So comics, who cares?
Exactly. Comics. There it is.
Right. So this is the part where Donny amps up saying, "Hey guys, I'm writing a Thor book and he's really, really powerful." And this is why he's like
Thor.
He's like, Thor can show up and kick everyone's ass while everyone's just like strained and got taken over. But nah, Thor comes in and he's like just going to town.
Don't forget that I'm Thor, guys. Come on.
Right.
He says, don't forget I'm also writing Thor.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me of Infinity War towards the end when Thor showed up with Groot and Rocket after everyone was feeling defeated. He kind of
bring me Thanos.
Yeah.
Bring me Thanos. But like, bring me Null.
No. Yeah.
So Knull continues with his empty threats, saying that he's the god of the void, king of the abyss. He's like, I am. And then and Thor's like, yeah, you're a king of God. Now I'm gonna teach you to do all those, bitch. So they go like, yeah.
Null does like to read, like you were saying earlier. Null does like to just talk about
who he is.
Darkness. I'm
like, I'm the god of the abyss. I am this, and he's like reading.
He's very proud of it. He's
totally just trying to play. He's like, it's like Ronan. Whenever Ronan went to introduce himself, it's like I'm not. He's like I'm a big deal, but you don't know that I'm a big deal, so I'm going to tell everyone I know that I'm a big deal.
You don't know this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
He's like I've been the big deal for the past 3 years of Marvel. He's like I have been paying your creators' paychecks.
You're right.
It's ridiculous.
No, everyone.
He hasn't had an opportunity to talk to anybody in a while. He's just catching up.
He's like, I'm gonna tell everybody. He's like, I'm flexing everyone. I'm having fun.
It's true.
So now's the part where Thor kind of gets overrun. We're seeing all of this come down, and Thor just ends up sucker punching him in the face. And that's where Knull starts to get pissed off. Tony comes in with his dragon now taken over a Celestial, so that's now followed up in his Hulk run. So if anyone was curious about that, who's currently reading his Hulk run, this is where that came from. Tony takes over one of the Celestials and breaks it up from the hive. So now Tony owns a Celestial because he needed a big toy. You know how Tony is with his toys, right? You know,
he needs a Celestial suit.
Yeah, right.
Right. So the person who's been like kind of talking to us this whole issue in like this blue font, it's not even Silver Surfer. He's like, yeah, Knull's y'all suck. I'm coming over to help you out, but he's like, no, he's like, oh wait, this is happening. I'm coming.
Yeah,
bro. I was like,
it's about time.
You know what they needed? They needed the mafia, the black suit mafia.
Oh,
the tracksuit mafia.
They needed the tracksuit mafia in there. Just go in. Just
like,
no.
Come on, bro.
Back, bro.
No,
we gotta help our city, bro.
I am the god of the abyss, king of the Symbiotes,
bro. Black, bro.
Yeah. Bro, though, we get it.
That
would have been hilarious. That would have been great.
Then
digging Silver Surfer Blacks. I've been a fan of this look, like the.
Yeah.
I don't think they really added it, but in other iterations, he's kind of got like a multicolored rainbowish hue.
Yeah,
a glisten, and that's kind of cool. But it still looks so badass right here. So dope.
I mean, that's Donny's thing. I also wrote him, guys, by the way.
Oh, nice.
That's like Donny's like little way of saying he's like, I'm gonna highlight certain characters because I either really want to write them or I already have, you know.
I mean, because he likes his Silver Surfer Black for some reason, like because I mean, it was in his Thanos run, right? When he was
he was there.
In
I'm surprised we didn't see Cosmic Ghost Rider in here.
I know, yeah, exactly. He loves that guy too.
Yeah, that character just got forgot about. I was like, I want more Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was good. But we're about to come up to the part that like Doesn't make sense to me, but here we go. Here we go. Now that Silver Surfer's here. Here we go.
So we have a
All right.
narrator in this issue. We have a narrator, and like I feel like every issue it changes. Means like Eddie doing it, and then it was like it was Tony for an issue, and then it was Silver Surfer for an issue. Now we're in somebody else. So we're gonna who's walking, sets up a connection with Dylan, and is walking him through what's going on, because in the previous issue, Dylan freed everyone from Knull's hut, all the heroes. So the heroes are back. They woke up to Thor. So that's cool. That was like kind of cool. So she's walking him through, and Dylan like starts his trash talking, and he's pissed. So we have like a Harry Potter and Voldemort type situation where like their wands link, and it's like a back and forth like kind of bridge. That was the only thing. So as these heroes are continuing to be released, Doctor Strange like turns into like old man, like kind of like Old Man Logan, but Old Man Strange with like a big ass like Gandalf cane. I thought like that was really cool.
Yeah.
And again, just look at him like sporting the classic Donny Cates costume. No one cares about you, Wade. I care about it. No one cared about it. Cyclops gets released, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, Doctor Strange, Thor, and those are like the elementals, I guess, of the group. One of them carries just complete and utter stupidness. You know, the other one carries invisible powers. The other one shoots fire. Doctor Strange is pretty cool with obviously his magic, and Thor shoots lightning. I don't know what the other dingbat does, but that's Cyclops for you. Cyclops obviously has lasers.
Classic Cyclops.
Yeah, I'm like, why are
doing
you
nothing
here?
over here, just
I'm
being
like,
Cyclops.
I'm like, why even here? You didn't even make anything better. You came and lost. You suck. At least Captain America said
He's
did
a
a few
strategist.
good. Yeah,
He's a strategist. He's a
nice
strategist.
strategy, ding dong. Yeah, got
That's the best
No
they could do.
strategy.
That's all.
Right, yeah.
That's how powerful Knull is.
I live to dislike Cyclops.
Yeah.
No worries. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
Really, the new issue of Hellions. Oh, that was so great. He's a pretty muscular
Yeah.
face. I'll talk about it later. But anyway, they all use their powers at the same time. So we had like an Avatar: The Last Airbender moment where all their powers like kind of combine, you know? And that's how they beat this big dragon. And then Storm obviously like comes back, and Spider-Man's like, hey, light it up, you know, I need help. And Storm's like, okay, I'll light up the water, you know, because you know Namor's down there, and he should really get fried at this point, right? No,
He'll be
Namor
fine.
I really wonder. I'm like, what happens when like lightning strikes the water? Like, does it affect? Does it affect Atlantis? Like, is it like their version of an earthquake, or like does the waters like vibrate? I don't know.
I wonder if there's like a radius type thing if they're so far below.
Yeah, like I mean, but it's like a wave, right? A wave should have basically affect like an earthquake, but it's like coming from like the top.
I have no idea.
So no addicts are
clue.
safe in Atlantis, I guess.
Nope. Just one good lightning bolt takes them all out.
I mean, it could. I mean, if it pisses Namor off, I'm all for it. So anyway, we realize that person who is talking to Eddie or not Eddie, to Dylan, and giving him all this advice is Jean Grey, and then she gets the link to Knull because like the connection is broken off, I guess, between him and everyone else. So his mind is free, and she starts torturing him. She starts looking into his past, and she's like, there's a reaction. She's like, he's the god of the abyss, but he's not the dark. She's like, because in every abyss, there's light at the end of the tunnel, basically. So it's like, in all this darkness, right? If you're just the god of the abyss, not the god of darkness, there has to be light somewhere.
Yeah.
So that to me makes a lot of sense, but it's like, okay, now that gets communicated through the other link that is set up through Silver Surfer Black and Mr. Fantastic. Now Jean is passed out, and we're kind of seeing that light go to enter Earth's atmosphere, or like it goes to enter Earth's atmosphere. Okay, so Silver Surfer goes to find it. He goes to get it and bring it back. Now Jean uses Cyclops' power that I guess was uploaded into her, or I don't know if it's her telekinetic or if it's Cyclops' powers getting uploaded through her and then re-uploaded through. It looks like her powers were then going through Silver Surfer.
Sure.
Right? That's what I kind of took it as. Like,
where was Professor X? Why wasn't he backing her up for something like this? You know,
Jean.
like, I mean, come on now. I'm just saying, no, they've never encountered something like why don't even test the waters.
Because Professor X said he wasn't giving any more help.
Yeah,
Also,
just
just
like, we're
the
done,
X-Men
bro.
don't fit.
He's like, we're
We're
done.
done.
He's like, we're out. He's like, Krakoa first.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, Jean is Omega. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I was just like, what if Jean can't handle it?
Right.
But she
So
did.
anyway, that light Silver Surfer is able to reach and grab, but it's directing him towards someone else, and that is flatlined Eddie on his deathbed. So that is the power of Captain Universe.
Yes.
Old
Classic.
school Marvel
Is
character,
that which that was like genius. I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. You know, just another piece of the toy collection that like was like an extra, I guess. This was like an extra, and it just
Captain
never
Universe coming to save
never
the day.
had a purpose, and now it does. But
No, that's-
Michael, what confused you?
yeah. No, I love that about Donny is that he'll take something like kind of obscure and like make it relevant, give it an edge, you know, like give it a use, like, you know, Captain Universe, the answer to the God of Darkness, the Big Bang, you know, like
Yeah.
Right.
No, it wasn't that. It was what's coming up with between Thor and Silver Surfer. That thing was. We'll get to it. Here we go.
Okay, so Silver Surfer returns, right? He's like, I just did something. He's like, I did something cool, man. He's like, did anyone miss it? But he approaches Knull, and his darkness, I guess, is no longer there. He's no longer like Silver Surfer Black for some reason.
yeah. The light purged him, I guess, of the
Yeah.
or
It was like everyone in the summer, but like you instantly turn into winter and they just their changes went away.
Yeah.
That's just the way it looked, you know. And I've had those moments, you know.
That's Silver Surfer.
Yeah. So I was like, so Knull is approaching him, and they go to fight, but then backup comes, and it's everyone was like pissed off, and of course we get the Avengers assemble. Like, I don't know, that part felt a little bit distracting though. You know, he's like, I will not stand alone, and he's like, they show up like with that. I was like, okay, cool, fine, we have to do it. It's Marvel, great. This is the Marvel way to tell an event. If there's no Avengers assemble, no Captain America, no others, it just doesn't happen. So Eddie shows up in his I don't know how he got the symbiote back.
I was wondering that as well. Possibly the Venom tie-ins.
It could have been happening. So the Venom book was still ongoing. It was drawn by Ivan Coelho at the time, or while this was coming out. So I guess that could have happened. I don't remember that as much. I just remember like Flash coming back and that just being the highlight of it. But I don't remember like exactly like how this section of the book happened. It was directly lined up against. We're only reviewing what's in King in Black. So Eddie shows up, and I guess his sacrifice made him worthy, so he can call Mjolnir, and he can, I guess, manipulate Silver Surfer's board.
Here we go.
And together, they come together and create this big sword. Or this big axe.
Make a sword.
They make an axe. They make a battle axe.
Yeah, Mjolnir and Silver Surfer's board could just be fused together to make an amazing, badass weapon.
That's wild.
Got it. Okay, here we go.
Yep. Good work, Donny.
Just needed a moment to catch up. All right, cool.
I just needed Donny. Oh my gosh, Jack Kirby would be so proud. Stan would be so proud. Two of his favorite characters being Silver Surfer and Thor coming together to boost none other than Eddie Brock.
I know, yeah.
I'm like, why didn't we see any of these guys like back up Ben Grimm, I guess?
I know.
Like, that would have been something.
This story was about Eddie Brock and all these amazing things happen around him, and he's just like, yeah, I'm Venom, I guess. Yeah, sure, it's cool. I'm
Venom with Silver Surfer's board, Thor's hammer, and Captain Universe.
Don't think about it too much. I'm awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. This is like years of depression leading up in my character. He's like, this is what you get, Marvel, for ignoring me since 1992.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, I had the biggest imagination, and I just wanted to combine all my favorite characters in one thing, and it looks awesome.
Right.
No need for explanation. Let's just go with it. You could always do this.
Cool.
I know. That's what got me. That was my thing. I was
like, Donny, you're great.
When I read it, I was just like, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing they can do now.
I was like, just now, I'm like, this is just dope.
Yeah,
like,
no, exactly. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I took a step back from it, and I was like, okay, it's just meant to be badass. It's just meant to be sick and awesome and just entertaining, and it was really cool, and it was. It really was.
And everything Donny and Ryan love. They probably like looked at each other when this was like the design. Like, yes, did we just become best friends?
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
we just go mess with. So this is like the most badass part because they couldn't kill these dragons, right? Like it took a bunch of time just to like kill, I guess, like 2 dragons. Great, but Eddie's just slicing through them like they're bacon. He's like boom, 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 and he does the same thing to the celestial one. I was like, wow, this is really cool. Good work, guys. I don't know. It's like that's harmless. It's harmless. So just like have fun with it. It's harmless.
Yeah. It's just it is what it is.
Right, and that was great. It's like this event fixed more for Flash and like the symbiotes than like, and it's like you guys work so hard to give us a new direction with these symbiotes, and it's something that like people actually care about now, and it's like gives fans, their niche fan base, a reason why they believed in this character for so long. So you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah,
it's like rooting for the Detroit Lions. Like you're one day gonna get rewarded for rooting for this poor franchise. You know? Sorry, Link. I know you're from Detroit.
Doesn't bother me.
He's like, I've lived with it for so long. Oh my gosh. Or it's like you made it through the Green Lantern movie. Great. Now read his comic where everything else is happening in, which is great.
Sweet.
That's your reward, Blackest Night. So Noah keeps talking smack. He's like, "Oh, you know nothing about darkness. Only I do. I'm like the king. I'm a god." He's like, and so Eddie.
He's so proud.
Yeah.
This guy's like just flexing at everyone. He's like, I'm taking my talents to Earth now. He's like, I'm from South Beach and going to Earth. You know, taking my talents there. So many sports references. So Eddie slices the head off of the Celestial. Meanwhile, Spider-Man's so happy that he just like controlled a dragon. He's like put a muzzle on it, I guess, with his webbing. He's like wrapped it up kind of like an AT-AT walker, like from like he was doing in Civil War, except in here, you know?
Yeah.
How you treat the Batman? Cool. Something about that. I'm like, so now kind of like everything comes full circle, you know, eye for an eye. Now Eddie's in the position where he's like, I have you, and we're over the same rooftop. Bitch. He's like, I'm gonna do the same thing. He's like, I'm gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna stab you first. Take out your darkness. Because I guess Mjolnir and Silver Surfer's board can team up to do whatever the hell I want. And
whatever they want. That's the thing.
Because those 2 Dominions have nothing to do with symbiotes.
No, but it's fine. They make a badass weapon. It's cool. That's always been a thing. You didn't know? You didn't know.
Yeah,
whatever. You're just behind. Like now, add in Cap's shield as well, and it's ends the world. But that's for another story. That's a whole story.
This is literally welcome to my world. I hope they explain this in their podcast that they do.
Yeah.
That apparently Scott Snyder's gotten an invite for, and I haven't. Idiot. By the way, you guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We're hitting 500, and we're gonna do something big for that. We really do appreciate your support and welcome you guys. If you guys did like King and Black Witch, we all did. We're not hating it.
Fun. No, it's fun. It's a fun book.
Yeah,
it's harmless. Like it too. It looks great. It's written really well, even though there's some like really weird story elements that we just went over. But we do appreciate your support being here today and making it this far through the breakdown. And we love turning these books into conversations with you guys.
Totally.
I just saw our friend Manny's quote. Sorry, Manny Station, but Knull kind of is going all like Skeletor, and he's like naked at this point. And it's like if you wanted to see naked Knull, that got approved by the Comic Code of Authority. There he is.
That got approved.
Like, got approved because there's no bat dick in there. So Eddie just like absorbs him, I guess, and he's like flies him into the sun. I didn't know that. I didn't know like I guess like the sun is like, but he was never able to affect symbiotes though.
But
I guess
got
fire. It was sound. Yeah, I think fire did. Yeah.
But then
he's got
Human
the power
Torch
of the
was
universe,
useless.
though.
What's
Cosmic power though.
No, but Human Torch could affect it because it said earlier in the book heat doesn't affect it. Only like sound and like electricity. That's why
They
it's
said
all
fire doesn't work as well, but they still had a weakness to it to an extent.
Cool. So
yeah, sun.
Yeah,
big ball of light and fire.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. That's where I'd fly to.
What is the warmest place on Earth? You could have just taken him there, but okay.
Sun is very straightforward. You get it.
You get it. Yeah. There. So he's like, this is for Dylan, and just like erases him. So he goes back to Earth, kind of as we hear. He's like, I did this, and Blade's like, I'm good, guys. I just got my butt kicked, but like, we're clear, guys. They were clear. He's like, I don't know anything about symbiotes. This is totally not my alley, but I'm totally fighting for you guys.
I don't do
like,
this.
He's like, I don't do this, but I'm with you guys, and they're gone on my end. I'm like, good job, playing. I'm proud of you.
I know. He's just like, you made me part of. Usually, I'm not a team player, but you made me part of the team, and I gotta do my freaking part. All right, that's who I am, and I'm here. I don't deal with this crap usually, but I'll do it for you guys. You guys are cool.
A+ for participation, I guess. You're like one of those participation trophies.
He should. Yeah.
You're like the rebels at the end of A New Hope. You got an A for participating in the Death Star. But only 3 people really got spotlighted for leaving and coming back. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Only gripe with the movie was how it ended. But Silver Surfer and Thor call back their respected weapons, and they didn't even like shake on it. Like the coolest weapon of all time is now back to normal.
I know it wasn't a thing. They could just summon their respective items back to each other.
Right.
Like that's what I'm saying. I didn't understand that part, that you can just combine them into this weapon, but they still had control over it. Like each one of them, Thor and Silver Surfer, still had their own individual control over their weapons still, because that was apparent when they summoned them back, and without any effort at all. Like, I don't know.
What were they doing? Well, when this is happening, right?
What if Silver Surfer accidentally summoned his board back? Mid-fight.
What if I was thinking like they had to like take a bathroom break for like the issue, and they just like left or something, or they went to go get like coffee or something. I don't know, but like the whole world's in darkness. It's like, oh wait, I can't fly. I don't have my board. I think I'll attack you.
I'm gonna get some coffee over here. You guys got this. My board's pretty awesome, and you made it even better. So you guys got it.
We're just gonna sit this one out. Let's go grab a beer or something. Or there's like another boom.
That's exactly what it was. Well, I don't have my hammer. I don't have my board. Want to get a pizza? Sure. Yeah, let's go.
We're in New York anyway. Let's do it.
It's true though. Like, yeah, where were they? I have no idea.
Right. So Eddie comes back and everything just lifts up, I guess. What's really weird to me, and this really screamed, we don't care what Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing. Null never crossed over in the Intergalactic Empire of Black Panther, which that should have been a thing. Like, it crossed over in the Shi'ar Empire. Yeah. It crossed over in the Kree Skrull. Why didn't it cross over in that, Yeah. Even like we knew about it in Sword, which is like Al Ewing's project.
I don't think they do too often, to be honest with you. I was like it's really odd that that no one really crosses over with the
Intergalactic Empire. But Wakanda, because no one cares about the book. No one cared for that idea in the first place.
I don't know. It seemed cool to me at first, but no one utilizes it ever. It's kind of crazy
because no one cared. They knew Wakanda belongs on Earth. You don't belong in space. No one cares about that. No one cares.
It was the next frontier.
I don't care if it was A, B, and C. Do that with like Tony Stark being ambitious and Pepper's Madden, so he needs to move 3 Earths away. That could probably or Tony's.
I mean, he did leave. He was part of the Guardians for a minute.
I mean, or
he did leave.
All of Tony's exes just somehow met each other. All of Hawkeye's exes like started to team up again, and like Doctor Strange's, and they all just like combined forces, and the 3 of them had to like leave, so they ventured off and created their own empire. That'd been a cool story.
That actually would be a cool story.
I know, right?
I'd read the crap out of that.
I would have also loved to see Conan in here too, like kind of.
He's just like, I have no idea what to do.
I'm just gonna use my sword. He's like, I need them doing it. I'm enjoying. That would have been so awesome to see Conan in here. I was like, because Conan's like canon now in the Marvel universe. So I was like, he's running with the Savage.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's just there. Yeah.
No, but Conan's like really fun. I love Conan in the Marvel universe. I want more of that. I really do. Which is why I'm sad Savage Avengers is ending.
Yeah.
Or ended.
It ended. Yeah, the last issue came out a little bit ago.
Did I read it? I think I did. I think I did.
Yeah, he pulled out the darkness out of the
right. So everything lifts up. Everything lifts up. And then Dylan is obviously like really, really sad, and Eddie has to take out his darkness, just so he doesn't have to live through all of that. And we learn more about Dylan in the fact that he is much stronger than we originally knew. Like he's getting a lot stronger, and his job is going to be staying like on Earth, and Eddie is now promoted because he freed the symbiotes from Knull. And I guess they like hated Knull, but in secret, because now they're like loving Eddie for getting rid of Knull. So I was like, so the symbiotes, like, I guess.
Well, he wouldn't shut up about being this king of abyss.
You're a king, you guys.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
You're like, we get it, bro. It's like,
we get it, man.
And that wraps us up. There was the issue of Venom that tied everything together. But this is the King in Black. This is all you need to know. If you guys read this event in trade, it reads pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. other than like simple dialogue, like, oh, he's just saying he's the king of the darkness. He's like flexing every 2 seconds and trash talking. But
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
I enjoyed it.
It was really fun. I liked it. The art is phenomenal. It's a really really fun, really cool Avengers Earth story. You see all your favorite characters in here. If you're a big symbiote fan, you're going to love it. And then actually a lot of the characters have really cool and really awesome like character development as well, which I liked to see. So that's always fun. It's a fun. It's worth reading.
Yeah, I agree. It was it's how events should be done. You know, shout out to Empire. But beyond that,
What?
I had to take my shot at Empire. But, yeah, this is a great read, very fun end cap. You know, it involved the Marvel. I didn't read the tie-ins, but from this issue, it involved the other Marvel universe, other like X-Men, Fantastic Four, in a really cool way.
Yeah, I agree.
Just fun all the way through.
Right. You really just saw everyone that needed to be there, and if they served their purpose to the story. I mean, Wonder Man was there, cool, but I really like the attention that Donny really gave this book. I thought that everything was a little bit more thoughtful with Knull and building him up over the years. I don't think that's something you see a lot due to the growing impatience of a lot of readers, and a lot of people were growing tired of symbiotes at this time. But this was something new, and every time there is something new in the big two, I always try to grasp it because you don't see it a whole lot. It's like there's a lot of like early cancellation or like you're nullifying certain series. So I'm really glad that this got the stuff that the props it deserved, you know, and Donny got to see his vision kind of come true in the Marvel universe. And
I liked it.
Still he's still doing stuff with Knull. And Thor is booming right now. So Donny's been Marvel's hottest writer, probably the hottest writer in the comic industry right now, just because of how much he's done. And
I could agree with that actually. Yeah, right now, currently, he's probably he's the top tier writer at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you this. You know, there's a difference. There's a big difference between like a character writer and like a universe builder, right? Universe builders, I would say like your Al Ewings, your Hickmans. I would even put Donny Cates in that category. Character writers, I would say more so Chip Zdarsky, Joshua Williamson. Even though he's doing a lot of event stuff that I just couldn't care less for. I did not like Incarnate, but and then of course who has a pretty good, and Tomasi, a character writer, just off the bat. Tom King, character writer, but like your universe builder, your Scott Snyder, your Jeff Johns, and Donny does a great job here of building that universe, building that world for Knull, giving him a cool backstory, something that could easily be retconned, and utilized, something that was never exploited, and Donny took the liberty to do that. So yeah. I really, really, really like this book, and I think it is.
Yeah.
Even if you guys do like the movies, Knull could very well show up in Venom 3, right? Or build up.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Right. I mean, especially because they're using the God Butcher in the new Thor movie coming up, and like we mentioned before, he has a huge tie to the God Butcher, so you can easily bring in Knull.
Yep. Well, yeah, the God Butcher the God Butcher's lived throughout so many years, so obviously like he knew the Abyss. And that was something that he was like closely related to, and it was like teased. Like Knull was never. Yeah. It seems like Knull's like first cameo, and Donny knew that he was going to be doing all of this like years in advance. Like he said, he knew he was going to be writing Thor like 4 years ago. So I'm not surprised if he knew that he was going to be doing Venom or taking on this many titles.
Yeah, probably.
Writers don't usually do it off the cuff, but I would definitely check out this book. Probably not my favorite Donny book. I would say King in Black was not my favorite capping point. I was a big fan of his Guardians. I was a big fan of Venom more so than I was a fan of King in Black.
Yeah. This wasn't even my most favorite like big Marvel event book either. But it's worth reading. It's especially if you were a huge symbiote fan, you're gonna love it.
Oh yeah, you are. There's nothing like not to love about this book, but it's like to me, it's like I have other friends like so. I'll probably say Civil War is still my favorite Marvel event.
Sure. I love Civil War is good for me. House of M is up there for me.
House of M. I respect it. Secret Invasion was great. War of the Realms was great. All Marvel events are pretty good.
Empire
across the board. So Empire was great. It's still.
I liked Secret Empire. Secret Empire was good. I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
I like Secret Empire.
Are you talking about
things about that?
Secret Empire, like where Cap becomes Hydra. That one.
Correct. Yeah.
Huh?
I liked that book.
It's so divisive. People.
It is. I liked it.
Like,
It was. I got the same feeling from that book as when I was reading Superior Spider-Man. I was just like, why am I reading this? It's so bad. Like, oh, I don't like it. But then it's always my first read every time it came out. I was like, why do I continue to read this book? Because it's legitimately good.
Right.
Even like the kind of my pitch. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
and the
what
kind of
we
like, I don't. This makes no sense to me. Like, he should be not evil. What's going on? And
Right.
like Spider-Man too. Like, why was he evil?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's King in Black. Harmless. Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. You're going to see them a lot more frequently on the channel and in the world of comics. I would definitely recommend checking out all of their content and their comics that they've been putting out. Thank you guys for tuning into Archives. Remember, like the video, subscribe. Next week, we're going to be doing Nightwing by Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, because that's coming out in trade or hardcover rather, because DC just throws our hardcovers actually like a bread and butter at a table. But other than that, look for this to come out Friday, 1:00 Eastern time. Every Friday, we try to drop Archives, if not the next day on Saturday. Other than that, Christ and Infinite Rants, we're going to be doing a homage to George Perez memorial, kind of celebratory, talking about our favorite stories and some of our favorite panels by him. So that's going to be our next Crisis on Infinite Rants video. That's going to have the four of us as well. So you're going to see us all team up for like the first time on this Crisis show and on Archives for Nightwing. You're going to see Bryce, because Bryce is going to be done with his finals. Weekly wrap up is live every Monday. That's our only live show next Creators Corner. So you want interaction with Bryce and I, check out Weekly Wrap Up, where we talk about new comics and just hang out with everybody in the chat. That's a great show. Other than that, you guys, Michael was recently on the Keeg show, which was great. I had a good time watching that, and I'm definitely going to catch me want to give it another watch. But check them out. Their links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode. Have a good one, you guys.
Station.